Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and boy, oh boy, has it been a year. My name is Annette Magnus, and we've got a whole lot to talk about this week because the United States government is literally killing people once again. So, Maria, I'm going to kick it over to you, and then we'll get right into it. Happy 1-year anniversary. What a
Happy
year.
1-year anniversary. We have so much to celebrate and not celebrate, but we can celebrate as guns are woke, apparently. So victory. We're woke gun owners, so that's good for us. It's like we've been waiting for this
Who
moment.
knew?
But yeah, we've been at this for a year. Congratulations. Cheers.
Honestly, I feel like our podcast. So, for those who don't know, it's the 1-year anniversary of our podcast. We started right before
Not of our
legislative
marriage.
session last year. That's many moons ago. But the podcast is officially 1 year old, and we started it right before I went to legislative session so that we could commiserate going through legislative session. We also started it a week after Donald Trump became president. Now it's been a year, so we're going to talk a whole lot about that. But hey, look at us, still going, still doing the thing, still doing the podcast. What a time
Still
to be
kicking.
alive.
My God.
Sorta.
Literally.
Kinda. Whatever.
Yeah. It's,
Maria, what are
you
your
know.
highlights? Aside from the United States government being a dumpster fire and literally murdering people, we'll get to that in a moment. What are some of the highlights, some of the positive things that have happened this year for our podcast?
for our podcast.
Yeah, we're not talking about anything surrounding.
No. The highlight, I think, is us getting our first bot to tell us that for most people it would be a low light, but we love trolling trolls. And if you haven't seen the episode, in one of our previous episodes, we read a comment from a troll who might be a Tesla troll or a boring troll who decided to tell us that the weird green ponds in central Las Vegas are just rock and debris from the Boring Company. It's not real. It's just mud, even though mud is a totally different color.
I think the highlight of our 1-year anniversary for me was having Steve Sebelius be our first guest, because he was such an instrumental part of our whole starting this podcast. He watches every week. He texts us all the time about it. He's our numero uno fan, and we have many fans out there, but we love Steve. And so he was our first guest, and we were very happy about that. So had many good guests, some months more than others, because sometimes there's just so much to talk about we can't have a guest. But having Steve be our numero uno guest has been a highlight for me this year. So very happy about that.
Yeah. He's amazing. Shout out, Steve.
Loved covering the session. I thought that was great. Nobody else was really doing it like this. I thought covering the session was fun. It's always fun to get to talk shit about session. I just love it. And then doing it again for a special. Who knew? Got 2 for 1 this year.
2 for 1 special. Thank you, Envy Ledge. Thank you.
What a life. Now we get to talk about elections because 2026 is here. So in year 2 of the podcast, we will cover everything the 2026 election. Lucky us.
Boy.
My husband's bringing me dinner. Here,
Hi,
husband,
Nick.
make your first appearance.
Hello.
Your first appearance on the podcast. Yay! Happy 1-year anniversary. Nick brought me meatballs. It's nice of you.
Oh. Hi, Nick.
So for those who don't know, we record this at night, so Nick's bringing me my dinner. Like a good house husband.
That's right.
See if he screwed it up.
That's right.
Not.
Test it and let
See
me
the
know.
Italian taste test.
He says, test it. That's so funny. Right, let me see. He made pasta. Let's see, everyone. Bravo.
Oh, you got a bravo. Woo! Nick makes it another day.
Okay, another year. Another year of podcast, another year of marriage. So I'm going to eat my dinner while we're on this. Why not? It's a 1-year anniversary. Let's celebrate.
Do it. It's a mukbang, as the internet calls it, an eating show. We're just talking and eat.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing a mukbang, a pasta mukbang.
Why not? Delicious Trader Joe's meatballs.
Yeah. Heck
All
yeah.
right. So where do we want to go from here for the podcast? Like, what do you want to see, Maria? What do we want to do? How do we want to grow?
You know, in this landscape, it feels so weird to have dreams and aspirations aside from making it another
I
day
know, to think
and democracy
positively.
surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what does it matter? We might die soon.
What is it?
We might be in camp
What
soon.
is it, Dema?
Yeah. Is that even real? Are we all in a COVID seventh circuit of hell and the rapture actually did happen and we just don't know it? So I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
We get more subscribers and more followers. I hope people like and share. There's so much more to talk about. This is an important year. You know, we always say this is the most important election year of our lives. This one actually is because we don't know if there's even going to be one.
You know what I would like to experiment now that you say it? And that reminded me of what we were talking about before we recorded. TikTok not working. I'd love to, because, you know, TikTok has been awful, is just in case things get taken down, go live on TikTok. And then, we're in there and people are watching. Like a normal schedule for everything else. But if you're on the TikToks, just go live for as long as, you know, before we're taken down or something. But at least we
may as well do it
got
on
a
Facebook
few eyeballs on it.
If Facebook will ever let you back on.
I got Zuckerberg. Yeah, another highlight of the year. Yeah, I got Zuckerberg, everybody. So if for some reason we used to joke that you would get put in Facebook jail. I was on death row and I'm done now. I don't exist. My mother tried to find me and she's like, you don't exist. You tried to find me. I don't exist. I just don't exist. And I get no reason why. I've emailed literally every email you can email.
Just don't exist on Facebook. So maybe we'll do a Facebook Live when you're back on there. Well, since it's a 1-year anniversary, what do viewers want to see from us? What else do you want us to cover? What else do you want us to talk about? What else do you want to learn? You know, we got a lot of weird shit, a lot of information up here. What do you want to learn about this year? What laws you want to learn? Well, hypothetical laws, because who knows if they actually exist soon. But, you know,
who knows?
What things you want to know? Let us know. Tell us in the chat.
Yeah. Or if you want to, or if you want to argue, debate. We love doing that too. Yeah. We used to do that at length for a hot minute at our old job. Go on TV and radio and debate people on the other side. And it was fun. It was great.
Yeah. Well,
so let us know in the comments.
1 minute reset. 1 minute. Happy anniversary to all of you for being with us, sticking with us. Continue to like, subscribe, and share. We need your support. I even wore my receipts-proof timeline screenshot for the occasion, for the celebration of our 1-year anniversary. From the cinematic wonder, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Shout out to Donna West for this beautiful gift.
Shout out, Donna.
All right. Well, happy anniversary. God bless. Let's go into the news. Recent news. Apparently today, Representative Omar was pepper sprayed. Would you like to talk about that? Because I didn't see that until just this second.
Yeah. So I was setting up for meeting you on here on our nice little recording space. And I was getting frustrated because I got a notification. I was like, what happened now, AP? And it's that Rep Ilhan Omar from Minnesota was attacked and pepper sprayed at a town hall in Minneapolis. And if you didn't see it, you can see it. We'll put the link there. Yeah, at first it was like, at first it was like, we think she was pepper sprayed. Then it was like, we don't know what it was, because you can see the guy spraying something. So people assumed it was pepper spray. But then it was like, no, we actually don't know, because they caught the guy. And I think that's why, because they caught the guy and got their hands on whatever they did. And you know what's interesting is, now that I'm talking about they caught the guy, it'll be interesting to see how like Omar or the Minnesota government actually investigate this to see what happened. And
unlike
being
our federal government, who's just out executing people.
Right. And just calling other people, you know, domestic terrorists and saying they deserved it and et cetera, which is ridiculous.
So apparently we see something just happened as we move through our recent news and other things that are going on, the global dumpster fire. Maria, would you like to talk about the news that just came in as you were prepping for the show?
Unfortunately, yes, Annette. We had we had a representative of Congress, Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, where most of the insanity is happening. She held a town hall and a man attacked her and sprayed her with an unknown substance in her face. I saw the MSNBC video. I went outside to watch, and MS Now, Jesus. And he just gets up, sprays her, and they immediately tackled him to the ground. So kudos to the security and staffers of Ilhan Omar and the people who were there to help her. And what's really interesting, and what will be really interesting, is how he will get treated versus, and how this case will get treated versus how the past two Minnesota incidents that ended up in death have been treated by Trump and ilk. They'll can just see that there'll probably be investigations, very transparent. Who is this man? Rep Omar, we'll see what she's going to say, but I have an inkling it'll be vastly different than how they're treating, and by them, I mean Fox News and all the right-wingers and Trump treating the whole other side. It'll be interesting to see how this differs.
Do they know like a motive? Was there anything he said? What happened to what transpired?
So as soon as, from what I've seen, I haven't refreshed anything yet, but from what I've seen, there was no motive because it had just happened. And as she was talking, right before he gets up, she was talking about the situation with ICE in Minneapolis and Bovino.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically, she was talking about ICE and what is happening in Minneapolis. So I'm pretty sure that it's just that it's a guy that is pro-ICE, pro what is happening, thinks it's okay, and because she was doing her part in actually voicing concerns for safety for her community. And she said nothing offensive, by the way. She was just talking about how blatantly horrible Minneapolis is being treated by the federal government. And because there's two people deceased, but also generally what is happening in Minneapolis. And if folks decide to watch this, most of the people in the town hall are agreeing with her. Like they're shaking their heads, they're saying,
Yeah.
And then this guy stands up and sprays her in the face as she says that. So
yeah, so they're saying
assumption is
like
that
a syringe.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was like a
That's
syringe
scary.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And it says, yeah, the man, this is on CNN right now. The man who used a syringe to spray the unknown substance near Omar was immediately arrested. City forensic scientists responded to process the scene. Omar was uninjured and resumed speaking at the event.
Go, Rep Omar. Heck yeah. Keep going. Don't let them stop you.
Yeah, like you sprayed you. Go get checked, girl.
Yeah. True. It was a syringe and an unknown substance. Something could happen.
Yeah, so
hopefully she's okay and does get checked at some point. But that is frightening.
So more wild news out of Minnesota. Okay. So what else is going on? So Bovino, my favorite cosplaying Nazi, I think, was fired personally because the good people of Minnesota have been holding his ass accountable to the point now of putting him on blast and holding Trump's feet to the fire over the execution. I'm not even calling it killing. The execution of the young man this weekend, which was horrifying to watch. I mean, gun violence is always horrifying. We've said that a million times on this show. But this was particularly horrifying watching ICE literally execute a man whose hands were on the ground. By the way, BT Jubs, for all the listeners out there, it is legal to carry a gun, even at a protest. It is legal to carry a gun in the United States. He knew how to use it, they registered the whole bit.
Second Amendment. That's what it's called. Second Amendment.
Crazy how that works, right? But when they're liberals, now suddenly they're not supposed to have guns at protests. But Kyle Rittenhouse, NBD, he was allowed to go literally shoot a protester.
And what I love is Trump today was saying, it was a loaded magazine. Do you want me to go around with an empty? Do you know guns, sir?
Tell me you've never shot a gun without telling me you've never shot a gun. And also, listen, I'm glad to see the NRA out there this weekend. For once in my life, I agreed with them. I was shocked. But just because they're a left person does not mean you don't get to own guns. That's not just for the right-wingers, right? And all
Nope,
these
it's for
2A
all of us.
right-wing nut jobs that exist, don't forget, the left can own guns too. Many of us, you and I included, own them, have shot them, know how to use them, have them properly stored, all of the things you're supposed to do. And we are allowed to own guns, and we are allowed. Today, Trump says, "Oh, well, just don't walk the streets with them." That's not how that works.
No,
Open carry is a real
read
thing.
it again.
motherfucker.
Read that Second Amendment one more time.
Concealed carry.
Yeah.
Concealed carry
Yeah.
is a real thing, my friend.
Mhm.
Castle doctrine, real thing. You show up to my house without a warrant. The castle doctrine is a real thing. Maybe the
Applies,
right
yep,
should re-educate themselves.
Yeah, especially when, I don't know, you dress like a kidnapper, like a robber with a baklava, and you tell me you're going to come in and take me, but you don't show me your badge or your warrant, both. Yeah, me and my mother are going to have both guns. Like, excuse us, I feel like I'm being attacked. Michael Roberson, thank you.
Right.
Stand your ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just don't have a lot of patience for that piece of it.
Mhm.
You know, today, Donald Trump out there on the backyard of the White House talking about, well, he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have been walking around with a gun. He shouldn't have had it on him. He shouldn't have had a loaded. Bro, tell me you don't know about guns without telling me you don't know about guns. It doesn't matter if it's at a protest or in a mall or whatever. The right has systematically chipped away at gun laws. So now we believe in safe zones? Now the right believes in safe zones? I thought that wasn't a thing, bro.
Now and you know what's insane about this whole thing is if you are actually a gun owner that actually knows the Second Amendment and what it's for and the intention behind it, this moment is why it was created. In case there was like a crazy armed governmental tyrannical militia and citizens had to defend themselves, because that was what most countries and kingdoms were like, where the regular people were not armed, did not have access to arms. And so this country said, we're going to try this out and actually say that you do get to purchase your own weapon and have your own weapon and actually defend yourself against a tyrannical government, especially. Like, that is the spirit of the Second Amendment. Yeah.
It was the whole
and y'all are saying, oh, no, he shouldn't have. No. Yeah. Whole point.
But not for the left. Not for the left,
No.
apparently. I'm like, oh, okay.
No.
And it's kind of like ACLU when we talk about, like, the anti-choice movement, right? You and I don't even like the anti-choice movement. I find them disgusting and wrong. But the ACLU will protect their freedom of speech, right? Because if you're going to protect freedom of speech, you have to protect all speech, right? Now, I consider them vile, and I consider what most of they say is hate speech. But we don't get to choose, right? It's just like them defending Charlie Kirk. I don't like anything he said. I don't agree with a damn word that come out of his mouth, but I agree with his right to say it, right? I was glad to see the NRA have to take that stance this weekend, because I was questioning, like, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it, right? This time they actually did. And I was like, yeah, because it's a slippery slope to hell. And guess what? It's not the left that's calling on you to say no more guns at protests and none of this and none of that.
It's your own.
That's your own crazy right-wing, they wannabe G.I. Joe supporters. So maybe you should get your own people in line with the talking points, friends. Because I know the law, you know the law, but apparently Donald Trump and his cronies don't.
No. Read that Second Amendment again, Donald Trump and cronies. Read that like 1 more time, 5 more times.
Insane.
Bought it legally, had a carry permit, all above board. Oh, and guess what? No domestic violence issues, no violent crimes on his record. It's like he's like the model gun owner.
He's who you want owning the gun, right? He is who the NRA wants holding the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except he left.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And clearly, he feared for his life.
Yeah. He feared for his life.
Clearly, he feared for his life. That's why he had it on it.
Yeah, right. And he was, what do we call it? What do they call it? A good guy with a gun.
Whatever. Disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It was an execution.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump now is trying to distance himself from Bovino. I mean, we had a German newspaper this week doing a side-by-side comparison of Bovino to a Nazi. I know everybody's all like, don't call them Nazis. Listen, bro, when a German newspaper is like, these people are cosplaying the Nazis, we got a problem, right? So rather than completely fire them, they send him back to his post in California where he's assumed to retire. Of course he's going to retire. He was told, get the fuck out or we're going to fire you.
Mm-hmm.
This was his soft landing. Now, after the shooting this weekend, you have Senator Jackie Rosen and CCM saying that they're finally going to vote against the funding bill, which means we're on track now for another government shutdown. Shut it down. And we are now potentially going to impeach Kristi Noem, which we should have done a long time ago because she is completely incompetent and should not be holding that position.
Okay. She's a dog killer.
Well, not too. Here we are. The Lord's year of 2026. Just eating my pasta, raging about the government.
That's right.
Celebrating our 1 year anniversary of a podcast where we rage about the government every week.
The American way. The Nevada way.
You know what's really interesting? I'm talking to my dad today. Again, I think I've talked about this on here. I use my dad as like a litmus test, right? Where is the average white man, older white man in America right now? I see all this polling this weekend. You're feeling it. You're feeling the energy, right? There is energy there now, right? And we got to make sure that this young man's death is not like used in vain. Like we've got to harness this heinous tragedy and use it for justice, right? And so, talking to my dad goes, if ICE does this shit here, you better believe I'll be out there on the front lines with you. My dad has not protested one day in his life. My dad barely voted until I got into politics in 2005. My dad literally was like, I'm going with you. I'm going to protest. If that man is willing to go out there on the front lines and be like, nah, enough of this bullshit. This is disgusting. Enough of this racism. This is disgusting. You know, we're at the point now where things are going to start to move. Because if enough of us get angry and enough of us rise up like the people in Minneapolis have and Minnesota have, the government is going to be in deep shit. And that's what needs to happen. And I hope every single Trump-loving candidate like Joe Lombardo gets held accountable in November. So we need to take this energy right now in January and we need to move it towards November because every single person who has supported this administration, who has been a mouthpiece for this administration, needs to be held accountable now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we'll, and if they come here, we'll take to the streets.
We'll see in the streets.
And the fact of the matter is, they're already here.
Yeah.
ICE is already here doing stuff. It's just not to the level of like, masked men walking through the streets. They're rounding people up in Vegas. They're rounding people up in Reno.
Yeah. Like they're around people's neighborhoods. Back when you used to be able to use that app, you could see that they were at this Home Depot on these cross streets. They're everywhere.
Wait, what happened to the app?
You can't download it anymore, and at least mine doesn't work anymore. The ice blocker thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apple said they were taking it out of their marketplace. Right. Yeah. Apple, Tim Cook, what the fuck? Like I cannot believe you're making me want.
I wonder who told them to do that.
Yeah. Like, you got me thinking about getting an Android. Like, Jesus.
All right. So let's talk about the statements from the different candidates in Nevada. What have people said? What has each candidate said? And then we can talk about some of the polling I saw.
The Nevada Current did a good job. And this was by Dana Gentry. We both know. She did a good job of not only recapping what happened and what has been happening. I think this was published today, so it's fairly updated about everything. So the thing that Dana really puts in here is that even Republican officials are pushing back. Guess who has? Even Greg Abbott, who only said they need to recalibrate the mission. Yeah, at least it's something. Greg Abbott, Republican governor of Texas, the most MAGAs, the most anti-immigrant, came out and said they've got to recalibrate. And Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt, and he's the chair of the National Governors Association, said, and I'll read it because I cannot believe a Republican said this, and that after this, and I think the death of Americans, what we're seeing on TV, it's causing deep concerns over federal tactics and accountability. Americans don't like what they're seeing right now.
How about the Republican guy in Minnesota who was running for governor and was like, you know what? I can't look my daughters in the eye and run on the Republican platform. I can't do it, so I'm dropping out. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
These are Republicans saying all of these things. So we went from, we got to recalibrate to this is terrible. We need accountability, and we have to forget our partisanship and understand this is unacceptable.
Like, this is the moment where you stand up for your country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so
we don't we do execute people, but here we are.
Yeah. We don't execute them right away. Well, yes, we do. You know what we mean, everyone. I was thinking of George Floyd. But I think that the key is that it's happening to people that otherwise wouldn't be interacting with police, right? Like we've seen police.
Let's just name it. It's happening to white people. It happened to two white people. To affluent, middle-class white people who were protesting. And we've always said it's going to take some white folks to die. Kiko, our best friends at Kiko, she posted something the other day. If we were to just listen to black and brown people, when they've been killing them for years, for decades, for centuries, we wouldn't be here right now because we would have held them accountable a long fucking time ago instead of getting to this breaking point now. So it took two white people to die for this to happen? What about all the black and brown people who've died?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
what's wild?
Here we are.
Yeah, this all reminds me of, I lived on the border, was born in Mexico, and was undocumented for most of my life. And when I was in elementary school, I forget what specific age, I would accompany my mom to school on the weekends. And there was one day, this was in Otay Mesa, so if people know San Diego, you know Otay Mesa, and there's a border checkpoint nearby, or the actual border nearby, not like the checkpoints they have now, 100 miles away. But I remember I was playing outside in the parking lot, just like hopping, playing with bugs and rocks and whatever. And I see Border Patrol catch a car of people, and they make them pop the trunk, and out come out people. There's a pregnant woman in there, and they shove and punch the pregnant woman to the ground. And I remember being a kid looking at that and going, why is that happening? That woman is clearly pregnant. And even if she wasn't, why are you doing this? And I remember just staring, and one of my mom's coworkers saw what was happening, and she was like, come in, and brought me inside, and they locked down the office just in case they tried to come inside to do something to them. So Akiko's totally right. This was happening in the 90s. This incident happened in the 90s, and it's been happening, like Akiko said, for generations to many communities, but people don't listen.
Yeah, no. I mean, even when you look at Nazism, right? Where did they get the playbook for that? They got the playbook from American slavery and the slave trade and all of the things, the heinous shit we did to African American people, right? And so, yeah, I mean, we've been at this for centuries. We perfected it. We're just playing old playbooks back over and over and over again. And now, fast forward, last week and the week before, we were talking about Renee Good getting shot in the face. After that happened, she was called a fucking bitch, right? Alex gets shot, gets executed just like Renee. The ICE is out there counting the bullet holes, not helping him, and said, boo-hoo, get over it, after he's shot. And the thing is, you've got these candidates now and these elected officials, these Republicans, who have signed up for Trumpism, co-signed the whole shit, finally saying, oh, this is too far, enough is enough. Bro, have you not been paying attention? Is this the first time you're waking up and seeing, what Trumpism is all about? Violence and chaos and hatred? Come the fuck on. This has been a year of this shit. And there was 4 years of this shit prior to that. And it's only been getting worse because of Trump and the Republicans' rhetoric. Like, come on, too little too late, Greg Abbott. You're a part of the problem because right after you said that statement, then you're starting to deny H-1 visas for university students in Texas. Go fuck yourself. So you're calling for calm now, but you don't really mean that. You still hate black and brown people. You still hate anybody that's liberal who's not like you. Like, we're at this point. Nick was actually talking to me about this last night. He asked me this. He goes, do you ever think we'll go back to any semblance of normalcy? I go, I don't even know what normalcy is anymore. I don't even know what that means in this context. I mean, what was normal before? Occasionally a black and brown person got shot, but like, even that wasn't fucking normal. None of us thought that was normal, right? This is just ramped up and just happening every day now. Does Congress ever get its act together and do its fucking job? I don't know. Probably not. Do we go back to some sort of democracy that we used to have? Probably not. We're so broken at this point as a country. I see a person with a red hat on and I immediately get angry. Not triggered. I get mad. Because at this point, if you wear a fucking red hat, I know you're a racist. I know you stand for hateful shit. Like, that is just like a call sign now for you assholes. So for me, it's just like, how do you go back for normal when people are still proud to wear that shit around? That's like wearing a KKK hood. No, you should be shunned. You should be ashamed of yourself. There is no more. Nothing about this country was normal before. We were all just pretending to like each other. And going forward, nothing's going to be normal because we need to rip the Band-Aid off and actually deal with our fucking problems instead of just pretending like they don't exist and sweeping them under the fucking rug. It's a lot of what I've been feeling the past few days. Hence why I'm eating pasta.
Comfort food. Like when you're in the legislature.
I'm angry. Yeah. So I'm eating the food of my people.
Comfort food.
I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think we go from here? Normal. What's normal?
I have no idea. I don't think I ever knew what normal was, especially because I experienced the immigration system, especially, at least for my story, like firsthand. And I knew throughout, especially when I hit high school, I remember thinking this country is really fucked up because of I had begun to process, like, I was actually super sentient. I was in high school and I was able to go. I remember I was applying for college and getting the reminder from my mom of, you're not a citizen yet. And like, it depends if you become a citizen before you're 18 or after 18. I was very lucky to get to be sworn in before I was 18. But at that time, I remember thinking this country's really fucked up because I have been here now for most of my life. Left Mexico when I was a toddler. And I went through years of horrifying interactions with the people that are supposed to be helping, not just enforcing immigration laws, but helping people get through them once they're here. Like, that was the whole point of INS, which is now ICE. To once you're here, all right, let's figure out how to make you legal, right? But even then, it's so subjective. It was so horrifying. Some of the experiences my mom went through were horrifying, especially as like an adult. And so for me, I think we're coming to this reckoning of, and SNL did it really well. They had I had a sketch with Tiana Taylor, and she plays like a talk show host, like one of those news talk show hosts, and a white, one of the white guys is saying, oh, well, this isn't our America. This isn't what, things happen, etc. And her and Kenan Thompson go, mm-hmm. And so every time the other people say how like they are surprised, they can't believe this doesn't happen, they're like, mm-hmm, like, for you. And I think that's where we're at. So I think you're right in that there are many people who have been woke, which is what that means, to what this country really is, especially to Black and brown people and other people that aren't a white cis man with land and have lived in a totally different country and experience than people who have immense privilege. And that doesn't mean that you have to have money, but like, just be by virtue of not having to interact personally with that horrible side of our institutions that have been broken. Or, many people would argue they're not broken. They're set up to be that way. And they never got fixed to actually be good institutions. And so maybe if we get out of this, and I say if we get out of this alive and intact, we do something better. I think that's the the one idealist bone I have left, but TBD.
Yeah. I don't know. Me and my dad were talking about it today. In our family, we have immense privilege, right? Never had to deal with the immigrations. Well, a few generations ago we did, but now we don't, right? Considered white, all of those things. And our big thing in our family is we really like to travel, right? I like to travel. My husband likes to travel. My mom and dad like to travel. My dad and I were talking about how embarrassing it is now to travel. It was embarrassing during the first Trump administration. It was embarrassing during this administration. It's even more embarrassing. But the worst part of it is like wondering, if I go somewhere, am I able to come home? We talked about this when I came back from Vietnam. But my dad and I were talking, at what point does Trump piss people off so badly in other countries? So now we've gone from the civil war here in this country to globally, what do people think about us, which is also not good. And my thing is, how long is it before somebody's like, yeah, you're not coming to our country. Yeah, those Americans, your passport's no longer welcome here. You're not coming to our country. And again, that is immense privilege to even talk about that. But it is something to think about, right? It's like we have gone from a place where you can go anywhere in the world. You can see anything if you have the privilege to do so. Or if you're traveling for work like you have to do, or if you're traveling for work like Nick has to do to Mexico, those are places you guys have to go for work. Are we even going to be allowed to do those things, right? For pleasure or for work? Because other countries now don't even want to fucking deal with us. That's a really scary proposition. So we're not welcome here, and we're getting shot by our own government for protesting. We're getting rounded up for having different opinions, which we all said was going to happen. You've got immigrants who have been here for years, decades, being rounded up for no fucking reason, doing nothing wrong because immigrants make our country better. And now we're not going to be able to leave either? How? It's just the whole thought process of the terrorism and the horrible shit that's going on here on the ground, mixed with then thinking about all of the global conflicts that this idiot has caused. It's scary. It's very, very scary.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It absolutely is.
It got to the point this weekend where it was literally too much, And I think, when you're watching a young man who's a legal observer, who we both know the process that people go through to become legal observers. It's a whole training you go through. You're watching a man try and defend a woman who is lying on the ground because ICE shoved her down on ice. And he's a registered nurse and he's trying to help her while filming. He has his phone in his hand, not a gun. And Mr. Pretty he's trying to get her up, and then they shove him, and then that's when everything escalates and they execute him. I just don't quite grasp. I was sitting on my couch and you and I were texting about it, right? I mean, it's Saturday morning. I'm eating breakfast and watching Bravo like I do every Saturday morning because it's my happy time, right? I don't have to work. I'm up before Nick. It's quiet. Nobody's bothering me. And then this shit starts erupting. And this is what we have to watch, is somebody literally getting executed. It was too much, especially after last week with them rounding up that little boy in the blue hat, which broke my fucking heart. It was just last week. And it's like this every week now. The depravity, just how inhumane these fucking morons are. It's disgusting, and it boggles my mind that people could be such heinous individuals. I just don't understand. Then you go on the fucking internet and you either got real people or bots. I don't know what they are, but at this point, if anybody's saying anything other than this was a horrible tragedy or this was an execution, I'm going off on them, right? And people being like, well, you shouldn't be bringing guns to protest. I bet if it was a right-wing protest, you wouldn't feel that way. I bet January 6th, you didn't feel that way, fuckface. Time.
Mm-hmm. And those January 6th innocent people, tourists, as they called them, had weapons. Before that, they tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan. Actually tried to kidnap her. Had a whole plot.
You know, for the United States. Like, did everybody have an amnesia and forget about?
That's the
Where they were like
horrifying part.
barricading themselves in?
Yeah, and I remember watching as the Jack Smith grilling theater by the Republicans was live, where the fabulous Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas said, I remember you, Chair. I forget who the chair is from, I think he's Ohio, Republican, obviously. She says, we're here now, and you're all attacking him, but I remember you running scared on January 6th and running for your life. And everyone else that was that is here that was there. And so, yeah, what either A, what do they have on y'all? 2, how much are they paying you? 3, are you just all the Klan?
I really think they're scared of Trump. For what? I don't know. Because Grandpa Pee-Pee Tapes does not scare me whatsoever.
No.
I don't know what he has on all these goddamn Republicans. And I don't understand how he became a cult leader. But, you know, MAGA's a cult. But here we are. And we're fully immersed in this hostage situation that we call the United States of America. And I'm tired of it. And I think average, regular, if you and I are fucking tired of it, we have a high threshold for bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're over it, if it's affecting us, which is let's be clear, that is the whole point here, is for them to drag people down, for them to mentally impact us. If you and I are having that reaction, imagine what average Americans are feeling right now, right?
Right.
It's too much. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's information overload. It's emotional overload, psychological overload.
Too much.
And then on top of that, the groceries aren't getting any lower. Donald Trump. Gas isn't getting any lower in most places.
No, because Donald Trump's a fucking liar.
Yeah, I remember taking my mom to the doctor, and a man actually, when you could clearly hear him tell the nurse at the front desk, yeah, I'm not coming in with insurance anymore because it is way too high for me. I would rather do the copay.
Great job, Donald Trump. So you lied to the American people, which we told them that they were. I mean, he literally wrote it all down. Then you go, we're not even talking about the fact that he kidnapped a president of another country. Nobody's talking about that. Because don't forget that happened like 3.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, and pardoned a drug dealer, one of the biggest in the continent.
And then, on top of all of that, pissed off Greenland, pissed off of all our... we haven't even talked about the fact that he shit the bed in Europe last week. Literally, his speech was horrific. And then he does a total about face because he knows he shit the bed and that they're putting tariffs on us now. So you got all that. We're not even talking about that because they executed somebody.
Yeah. And then remember, the Epstein files aren't out yet.
That part.
Like, it's just one after the other.
It's insane. It's insane. Some of the damn shit I can't even keep up with, you know? It's just wild to me. And this reported now is saying that it was 2 cops, 2 of the ICE officers that fired during, they call it an encounter, I call it an execution. And then you've got all these other things happening in the world. And we can't even talk about them. You had a whole ass ice storm over the entire South and East Coast, and everybody can't talk about that. What is FEMA doing? They can't even use the word ice, Donald Trump says, to warn people that an ice storm is coming because they're afraid they're going to make memes about Minnesota.
There's a shit storm coming.
Even Stephen Miller today. Stephen Miller acknowledges possible breach of protocol before Alex Pretty's shooting. No shit, Sherlock.
No, really.
You empowered these assholes to act like that. Who gave any of these assholes a gun? That's what we should be talking about. Who said you get to go out and randomly patrol the streets? What training has these ICE officers had in a row? Nil. None. And now this poor woman who recorded the fatal shooting is speaking out. You know she's going to get all kinds of shit for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Trump voters. Even those that regret it now. You did this.
You know what? All these people, you can regret it now. You can take it back. No, you can't. No. All these people who are like, oh, you can change your mind. You can be wrong. I ain't like that. I ain't one of those people. You knew what you were getting. You knew what the fuck you were voting for. He wrote it down in a whole pamphlet called Project 2025. And you believed he's not lying. He has nothing to do with bullshit. And then you knew what you were getting because we had it 4 years before you still fucking voted for this shit. You are complicit with all of these kids who are being rounded up. You are complicit with all of these immigrants, these people who are being rounded up and treated horribly. You are complicit with racism and homophobia and sexism. You are the reason we don't have abortion rights in this country. You are the reason for these 2 people being murdered in the streets of Minnesota. No, I do not give you a pass. All these other people can say, oh, we changed our minds. You know, we will accept you. Change your mind. I saw this motherfucker the other day on the news. He was a right-wing pastor out here saying, I'm so sorry. I saw the light. For years, I worked on the right-wing movement. He was doing shit like praying the gay away at these conversion therapy, horrible, horrible things. He was talking about, in his old job, taking women's right away to choose. No, I do not forgive you, sir. No, you were complicit. You have a lot of making up to do. Maybe if you do the work, I will forgive you. But we talk about this all the time. People can be forgiven. I can give people second chances. But are you willing to fucking do the work to get that second chance? Because I'm not just forgiving you to forgive you.
Right. Because that's how we got
I've
here.
been thinking a lot about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got here because our country...
during the Civil War. We don't punish people.
Because we said, oh, you know, Lincoln died, and so now we all need to just grieve and come to this country. No! Grieve. Now take them to court. No. And because of that...
the shit out of them.
We're here. Yeah. So, like you said, people can get forgiven. It's not about being perfect. No one is. But it's not about just because you say it, I'm supposed to accept you. You're supposed to, and I hate to use a religious term, but I mean, it's there for a reason, atonement. You're supposed to actually act out and deserve forgiveness. It's like, for example, when people, especially elected officials, have been accused and found that they were doing sexual assault and assaulting people and being predators, and many were complaining like, I'm not perfect and this and that, and they're just attacking me. It's not about that. And if you want to get back into things and come out of your hole, you have to atone first, because you actually hurt people, and you also hurt a lot of people that felt betrayed in some kind of way because you're a terrible person. I believe Attorney General Ellison is one of the people that actually did. Yeah, so like, what are you actually going to do as opposed to say, I regret, thoughts and prayers, same thing.
Just because you're embarrassed and don't want to be lumped in with these assholes. No, that's not enough. You can change your mind anytime. Sure, you can change your mind, but what are you going to do about it now? Because now you put a whole lot of people in harm's way. So what are you going to do about it? Because
Nick is a great example.
I didn't go for that shit.
Yeah.
100%. Put your money where your mouth is. You know how many protests he's been out there with me at? And he didn't do half the... He never voted for fucking Donald Trump. In fact, he left the party because of Donald Trump. Because he's like, I'm not standing with this shit. I mean, he was already pretty far gone from the Republican Party at that point. But, like, Nick was like, hell no, I'm not going to co-sign this nonsense. He was the one out there with me when during the Black Lives Matter protest. We were right up front, where we belonged as white people, on the front line in front of those fucking cops. Right there with me. That's how you show up when you have something to repent for. You didn't vote for Donald Trump. He's the biggest, most outspoken person I know. He was fighting with some dude on the internet yesterday. He has a whole barrage of things he says now. Anyways, I could talk about this for hours because I'm so pissed off at it. Now they're changing the story, apparently. Now they're saying Alex Pretty had a earlier run-in with federal agent sources. So who the fuck cares?
Who's
so
the
we
source?
talked
Donald
to a
Trump?
federal agent earlier and give me a fucking break. You know this government lies. Give me a fucking break. Ugh. All right. Well, speaking of doom and gloom, I think we need to end with this because I think it's the perfect ending to highlight all of the chaos we were just talking about. Maria, the Doomsday Clock has been updated. I'm very excited about this because I am ready for something to just take me out at this point. Talk to me about the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, y'all, everybody, we are now 85 seconds to midnight, 85 seconds closer to Fallout Vegas being real, where we're all just going to live underground if we survive. And we're just going to never see the light of day again.
On that planet.
But
okay,
yeah, so if people don't know,
yeah,
the Doomsday Clock, for the people who aren't nerds and haven't followed this, it's been around for a while, but the news of why this is important is 1947. Thank you. And it's an association of atomic scientists. So not just, people on the internet. It's actual scientists that study the world and study the possibilities of certain things like nuclear war, or war that will completely destroy a large percentage of humanity. And for the first time ever, we are the closest we have ever been to midnight. Midnight meaning when all shit is going to happen and Fallout Vegas or the Handmaid's Tale will commence. And we are now, as of, I believe today, 85 seconds to midnight. We're less than 90 seconds, everybody. We're finally less than 90 seconds.
Well, so what's interesting is last year, the bulletin set the clock to 89 seconds to midnight, which was at that point the closest the world had ever seen. After setting the clock to 90 seconds in 2023 and 2024. The 2025 change due to insufficient progress in combating regulatory global changes, including nuclear risks, the climate crisis, biological threats, and advances in disruptive technologies. That's like, mis and disinformation, for instance. I love the quote. It's a hard truth, but it's our reality. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
So humanity has not made sufficient progress on the existential risks that endanger us all. Friend, I think we're way closer to midnight, actually. I think we're way, way closer to that. It says every second counts and we're running out of time. Bro, we're this close.
I feel like every millisecond counts.
Last year, the Bulletin of Scientists warned that countries need to change course toward international cooperation and action on the most critical existential risks. Rather than heed this warning, major countries have become even more aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic. Gee, I wonder who he's talking about. I wonder what bully, what orange bully they would be talking about. Great job, everyone. Great job. Let's see. This is a good part. I didn't read this earlier. By good, I mean horrifying. The last remaining treaty governing nuclear weapons stockpiles between the United States and Russia will expire on February 4th.
We're so screwed.
We got a week, everyone. We got a week.
You thought the Cold War was bad.
Additionally, grave dangers persist in the life sciences, particularly emerging in areas such as development of synthetic near life.
Sure.
Despite repeated warnings from scientists worldwide, the international community has no coordinated plan, and the world remains unprepared for potentially devastating biological threats. I even want to know, God willing, they're talking about aliens here, because, I don't want to be here. We lived through a pandemic to get to this.
COVID really screwed us. It should have just...
I think it did. We've got to be living in, the ninth circle of hell. come on. This is all just a simulation at this point.
It has to be.
Oh, God. The rapid growth and use of AI tools, coupled with the lack of regulation, supercharges mis and disinformation and greatly impacts efforts to address all of these threats and exacerbates every other impending disaster.
That's
So, yeah, we're much closer to global demise.
Yeah. Happy 1 year.
Great job.
We'll see if we make it another.
Great job, humans. And I think it's important for those who don't understand the context of the Doomsday Clock. If you've never heard of it, Google it. It's a recognized thing they do yearly. They update it. The clock isn't designed to definitively measure existential threats, but rather to spark conversations about difficult scientific topics and crises on the planet. According to the bulletin, some experts who haven't been involved in the clock's designation has questioned its usefulness. I know, and I know you know, we talk about this every year. You and I have talked about this every year it's been posted because I think it does spark important conversation. And it
Mm-hmm.
talks about the fact that we are on a path, if we don't get to correcting some of this shit, we are on a path where things are not going to go well if we don't get our shit together, as evidenced by the past week.
Yeah. And I think it also sparks an important sort of sub conversation throughout all of these, especially as it gets closer and closer, is that a lot of times we have leaders on many parties all over the world that sometimes just kick cans down the road and decide not to do things right away because it's not urgent, it's not important. I got to wait until I get reelected and blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes this talks about, I love how they said, no one has plans for anything and we're screwed. That's the conversation. So 85
and this is
seconds.
a nonpartisan problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, nonpartisan
Because
problem.
both do it.
We're all guilty of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, I'm tired. I need a nap. Who knew fascism would be so tiring? Our ancestors.
It's literally our ancestors.
Literally, my great grandfather looking down, being like, "You dumb bitch! What did we not?
Yeah.
We left a whole ass country, you dummy. Of course, it's exhausting."
Great grandparents are like, you said you need a nap? I never got one. Great grandma's
You
like, I didn't even
weak-ass
learn how to read.
American princess. Why couldn't they keep floating? Why did they had to stop here? They couldn't float somewhere tropical? Like, you couldn't have gone, like, down a little bit?
Right, like mine did.
Couldn't just kept on floating.
Yeah, you
Whatever.
could be Mexican,
Well,
you could be
happy
Italian,
1
Mexican.
year anniversary. I can't wait for another year of discussing the American dream.
Happy 1 year. We'll see. Riverside is 85
Okay.
seconds
Well,
to midnight
any hot
too.
takes? Any headache?
Riverside FM.
Any hot takes or headache? Yeah, right. Hot takes or headaches, Maria? What do we got?
Riverside FM sucks right now. And it is also my headache.
I will say, for those who want something to take their mind off of the crisis that is going on in the United States of America, if you're not watching The Traitors on Peacock, you should be. My dear friend Lonnie and LaTwyla and I were discussing it this weekend, Maria. It's on Peacock for everyone who needs to watch. This season may be the best season yet. So if you want something that's positive, a good like game show thinking kind of thing with a little bit of drama, housewives, other people from like other game shows, The Traitors is where it's at. So just pro tip if you want to take your brain off of nonsense for a while.
Hell yeah. And that's good to do. But I think I'd be remiss, especially this week, to not shout out, and it can be something that people can watch, Alex Honnold, who lives in Vegas. And he climbed Taipei 101 by himself with nothing.
Yeah.
And so I saw that Netflix not only has that,
terrifying,
but if you haven't watched, and if folks don't know who he is, you should check out the first one, Free Solo, where he takes on El Cap in Yosemite. And it's a full documentary where you get to see how he gets to that point. And you get to see him by his house in Vegas, which is cute. And he's just a great human being actually doing stuff. And the reason why it also reminded me is because his wife shared a post on Instagram of someone really sad, but like really sad because they got to see Alex climb high and then they got to see another Alex be executed. And so that just shows me not only is Alex a great human being, but so is his wife, because she's actually not afraid to talk about what's happening in context of her and her husband being like good human beings that aren't greedy and are like actually doing super cool things. Because bet you Trump can't do what Alex Honnold did.
No. If you're going to watch, I suggest you have a fear of heights, just tuck in, grab a blanket, get yourself something to breathe into, because I did watch the first one of him scaling El Capitan and my knees were weak and I felt like I was going to hyperventilate. So I have not watched the new one yet, but he's great on public lands and he's good on many issues. So yes, congratulations to you for scaling that because I couldn't ride a gondola up a mountain in Vietnam. I did, but it was hard. Well, that's the final bell, everyone. Good luck to you. May we survive another week of fascism. Yeah. Happy 1-year anniversary, everyone. We will continue to bring you all of our colorful thoughts and feelings. I might eat pasta again because I'm hungry and sad. And you may get to join me for that. Maybe we'll make it a thing. I don't know. This week, I needed my pasta and my meatball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks for
Comment if
indulging
you
me.
want mukbangs.
All right, friends. Well, remember, rate, share, comment, DM us, text us if you've got our phone numbers. You know, we want to hear from you. We want your comments. We want your share your concerns. If you want to talk about Elon Musk's mud pits, put it in the chat. And let us know what you want to see for the upcoming year, since it's our 1-year anniversary. Let us know what you want to see next. And yeah, happy anniversary, Maria.
Happy anniversary. Fingers crossed we see each other next year, but also next week.
All right, everyone, stay safe, and we will see you next week. Happy 1-year anniversary to our podcast.
Bye.